Hey there, it's Ballbuster. It's Buster Balls about movies. Or if you like to call me by my real name, I'm Alex. And I'm here to talk to you about VHS, the new horror film, the new found footage anthology horror film that has recently been released on demand and on iTunes and all this stuff. Later in October, it'll become in theaters limited, so be looking out, because this is a pretty awesome film if you ask me. I think it is the best horror film of the year so far. It is scary. It is terrifying. It is amazing. One of the best films of the year, if you ask me. And if you want to get a taste of it, here's the trailer. Okay, here's the deal. We gotta break into this house, and all we have to do is steal this one VHS tape.
Which one is it?
I don't know, man. Let's just
Look at these, okay?
What's so special about this tape anyway?
What the fuck was that?
You're all gonna fucking die up here.
My apartment's haunted.
It's not haunted. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation.
You're watching this too. I like you.
Did you erase it?
And here I am again. Now that trailer was pretty intense if you ask me, and that's why I wanted to see this film so badly. The trailer got me hooked, and I was just ready to get in there. And I was not disappointed if you ask me. Not disappointed at all. Actually, my expectations were exceeded a lot. I think the film is scary, as I said before, and I think the acting is hit and miss, like especially for the woods one, where the kids are in the woods. I think some of the acting there is just pretty laughable. But, you know, it doesn't take you out of the film because you're with the film, if you ask me. And the acting and the strange thing happened to Emily whenever she was younger is also pretty hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a horror film, so sometimes you just go with the bad acting. And it doesn't ruin the film again, so that's good. The directing, if you ask me, is good. Just a lot of shaky cam, which is one of my only complaints, because it is found footage, and I'm used to shaky cam, so it didn't bother me too much. Now, the best directing has to be Ty West, because he is amazing at Second Honeymoon. I think he does a fantastic job, if you ask me. I think he adds suspense whenever the script does not have it. And I think he just did an amazing job with his directing. And I also think Radio Silence did pretty good with their haunted house one. They showed some good imagery with their directing. I think they limited shaky cam a lot. I think they had a lot of tense with the POV. Amateur Night also had some pretty good directing with the glasses, POV again. Some innovative stuff they did there, if you ask me. Not like groundbreaking, but you know, sometimes some things you never seen before. And the directing with the kids in the woods, I think, was a little lackluster. It didn't really show much good things, but I'll get to why I like that later, though. And the wraparound story also had some pretty good directing, if you ask me. Not a lot of shaky cam, some good imagery, stuff that makes a horror movie directing pretty good. Now, here's the best part of the film is the scripts. These are amazing scripts. Probably one of the best anthology films. Not like better than Creepshow or Trick or Treat, but you know, it's up there. It's great. Every single story, if you ask me, has great payoff. Just great payoff. I like all the payoff. It makes sitting through all these good. Even if you're not enjoying it, once you get to that payoff, you're hooked. Then you're hooked, and you just love it after that. This is especially for Second Honeymoon by Ty West. In the beginning, I was saying, man, how did Ty West make this boring? All of his other films, Innkeepers and House of the Devil, had you hooked immediately. This one didn't. But then that ending, it's set up with a couple lines, but it just packs a punch. Just packs that punch. And that's why I loved it. That's why I liked it, actually. It went from like a C+ to a B+. That's how much that twist helps that out. Same thing with what happens to Emily whenever she's younger. Yes, it is scary. It is pretty scary, if you ask me. And all that. It's tense, but it's just not enthralling. Yeah, it's got the horror parts, but not very good story. Then that ending comes. Great, 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 great. Loved that ending. I just loved it. The kids in the woods, not as good of payoff, but it makes sitting through all that talking worth it, actually, with all the blood and you get. And I liked it because it's a little twist on the old slasher. The Amateur Night one, I think that also had some good payoff with the gore and all that. I just thought that was pretty good. And the wraparound story also had some great payoff at the end with the old guy. I'm not going to say what happens, but great payoff. Oh, and the Haunted House one also has some great payoff too. Man, and the gore in this is fantastic. Almost all of it looks realistic, especially the one with Emily. And the Second Honeymoon, Ty West did amazing gore, even though he doesn't have much gore in his films. I think he could start making gory films and make it so realistic, because that was horrifying to watch that, how that person gets it. It's just terrifying, horrifying to watch. If you couldn't tell already from this review that I love this film, I love almost every single thing about it. It's the best horror film of the year again. It is one of the best films of the year, if you ask me. I know that's going to be debated by a lot of people, but I believe it is because it scared the hell out of me. Man, just go see this film. I give this film an A. This film just blew my expectations out of the water. Now, if you were wondering, this is how my order of the stories would go from my greatest to my least favorite. But, let alone, they're all still good on this list. Number 1 would be Amateur Night. I loved that. Number 2 would have to be the Haunted House one with Radio Silence. Number 3 would be the Woods one because I liked the ending. Number 4 would be the wraparound story, again, because of the ending. Number 5 would be What Happened to Emily whenever she was younger. And number 2 would be the Second Honeymoon because that beginning is just too drawn out and not much setting up. Yeah, it sets up maybe once or twice, but not many times after that. So